Welcome back to our special preview of the Jubilee year. Whether you're visiting Rome or at home, all Catholics are invited to celebrate the Holy Year, and there are many ways to take part. Joining us in studio now is Father Paul Hartmann. He's the Associate General Secretary for the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops and serves as a liaison between the U.S. bishops and the Holy See for the Jubilee year. Father, thanks so much.
Oh, it's my joy to be here with you.
Oh, it's my joy. And I think especially for our viewers at home, when we think of the Jubilee year, we think of going to Rome's basilicas. We think of that imagery with the Holy Door, the pilgrimages. But realistically speaking, it's not feasible for all families to make this trip to Italy. So to start us off, what are some accessible ways for people to get involved in the Jubilee year?
Well, certainly the Holy Father has made it very accessible for anybody in their given circumstance to have an encounter with all the different aspects of what make a Jubilee, and more importantly, a pilgrimage within a Jubilee year. I always use, when I teach, the notion of the road to Emmaus. And if you remember that story, it's the disciples on a journey, which is the necessary part, that effort to go somewhere. Then there's a process of learning, listening, hearing the Lord. Then there's a sharing of a meal, sharing of time together, and then there's going forth with the experience. What the Holy Father has said is, while there's still the notion and the ideal of a journey, a pilgrimage to Rome, maybe to the Holy Land, but these are things to the effort that you are able to put forth. You make a journey and participate with your parish, with your diocese. Every bishop in the United States has the right to declare places and activities that would serve the activity of the Jubilee year. While there's not specifically a holy door, we have to remember that the door represents not only the conclusion. We arrive at the door of someone that we've been invited to visit their home. We arrive at the door, but then you go in and something continues. And that can be just going to your parish in a particular way with an intentional commitment. So what I would recommend is everybody, even if they're homebound, reach out to your parish, reach out to your diocese and ask, can I join with people in spirit and in my circumstance in this journey? And if you are intentional about participating in the sacraments, if you are intentional about offering the Holy Father's prayers for the Jubilee year, and you are intentional about some action, then you can afford yourself the great benefit of the Jubilee year, the indulgence that goes with it.
You can be a pilgrimage too, and it seems like that intentionality is the key. As I mentioned, you're the liaison between the Holy See and the U.S. bishops for this Jubilee. Can you speak about this experience so far as the liaison, and what are you hearing from our shepherds as we're entering into this Jubilee year?
I think the bishops themselves are certainly very excited. We're Americans, and we're media people. When there's something vivid, it makes it all the more possible to participate, to latch onto. So the bishops really like the notion. The last great Jubilee of the year 2000, the year of mercy was considered a Jubilee year. Those are identifiable things. So the bishops are very excited about those opportunities, both if they're leading pilgrimage groups. I know many bishops are for different aspects. Remember, throughout the Jubilee year, there are jubilees for pretty much every category of people, from priests to communicators, media people, through young people, married even. There's even a jubilee for those who are in prisons, and we must make an effort, obviously, because they can't make the travel. So all of those different things, different bishops are taking different opportunities to lead a group of their faithful to this. Now, that makes it all the better for them to be able to connect them. Many of the bishops who studied in Rome or have gone to Rome a number of times, to connect people not just with that place of journey, but that place of faith of the church, and to give them their own experience, their own insight about St. Peter's, about St. Paul outside the wall, about the catacombs, all of the experiences that being in Rome can afford. But you don't actually have to go there to begin to appreciate them.
You've already hit on this, but I want to follow up on it because I think our viewers' ears might be perking up. Last year, the Vatican issued a decree that Catholics can obtain a plenary indulgence during the Jubilee year. Speak more as to how the faithful can take advantage of that, all faithful.
Sure. So I spoke of the different aspects. If you participate in what are the aspects of a Jubilee, the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops for the country has declared the national shrines specifically the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception as a sacred site and a pilgrimage site. Now, there's not a holy door per se. That's limited to the basilicas of Rome and the Holy Land and Loreto, but there is an opportunity to visit places, the various national shrines, to visit your cathedrals, and to do so with the intention of, I want to be a part of a Jubilee activity. So participate in the celebration of the Eucharist with a proper disposition, meaning you've gone to confession. Offer in your own heart and prayers the intentions of the Holy Father, and a wantingness, a desire to be joined to the rest of the world in this Jubilee celebration. Then the indulgence would redound to you.
That's a great clarification. In our remaining minute, Father, the U.S. bishops are encouraging churches to do their own stateside celebrations.
Yep.
Speak about why that local aspect is key and how it does speak to that connectedness we all need.
Well, remember, I used the example early on of the road to Emmaus, and it's one of the wonderful stories of the scriptures. There were the two disciples, and they encountered the Lord without fully recognizing. When we celebrate our faith, it can be very personal, and someone who is homebound and feels they're alone, they shouldn't feel they're alone, because even if they're homebound, they have others on the journey with them. And we go to a parish, and we belong to a greater reality than just ourselves. That's the whole point. Can we be connected to others? That can be local, that can be family, that can be diocese, that can be nation, that can be the global Catholic Church.
I think we need that connectedness more than ever.
Very much so.
Father Paul Hartmann, thank you very much.
You are most welcome.
To learn more about local Jubilee events, go to usccb.org/Jubilee 2025. There you'll find helpful resources, including prayers, information, and calendars.